Hi, everybody, and welcome to Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. I'm J.W. Stewart, along with Bruce Barber, and we're joined today by our guest, Camryn DeBose. Camryn is a graduate student here at the University of New Haven, pursuing a degree in clinical mental health counseling with a concentration in forensic mental health. She's also been a member of our women's basketball team. Camryn, it's great to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for asking me to come.
Well, you have impressed a lot of people on this campus in your time here. Mm-hmm. No one better than Dr. Z, our interim president. Mm-hmm. So Dr. Z had told us that you got to meet Camryn, you got to get her on Charger 360. So here she is. Camryn, tell us a little bit about where you're from and why you chose the University of New Haven.
I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida, and I chose to go out of state because I wanted to experience different places, different people, because most of my teammates were already going to choose Florida State and UF, all those big schools. And I was like, you know what, let's go somewhere where they have 4 seasons, because I'm only used to summer and fall. And then I got reached from the coach here, the previous coach, the coach now is Debbie Buff, before it was Watson, and she reached out to me for a scholarship. I'm like, you know what, you can't deny a scholarship. And so I was like, let's go to Connecticut. We did a visit, and I fell in love with the school. It was nice and small, and I get to know the people, my professors, and that's what I was really looking forward to. So I was like, and they have winter and spring, can't complain.
So what would you say is your favorite thing about West Haven?
My favorite thing, I think it has to be maybe I'm going back to the weather again. I've never seen so many pretty leaves, like pink, orange, yellow. I thought leaves were just green and brown. So when it's winter here, it is beautiful. In the spring, it's beautiful. So I like the scenery. I really like the scenery.
So we're going to quote her. The winter here is beautiful. Most people, especially people who live here in Connecticut, don't say that.
No. That is refreshing.
It's like a winter snowland for me.
Fantastic.
So I really like it, especially
Wow.
when it's coming down. I'm like, yeah.
We mentioned it was basketball that was really the driving force, one of the driving forces, if not the driving force, to get you here to West Haven, the University of New Haven. What was it like playing basketball? Your eligibility is done here as you finish up. What was it like playing basketball here for UNH?
It was fun. I had all 5 years. I was able to start for the program, fortunate, and I was able to see the floor, didn't have any major injuries, so I had a great experience. I think the biggest takeaway I got from playing basketball was it helped me develop my skills as a leader. I just came into basketball just to play basketball and just do my studies, but I figured out there's so many other things I can get involved in, having this platform as an athlete. I was into SAC, then I became a captain after 2 years on the team. So I was like, whoa, who would have thought this freshman would have been doing all of this just because of playing basketball? So.
And that's really the goal here, really, is to try to, I always say, your college experience is such a transformational time, right? You go from being with your family to being out on your own with your peers, and you start to discover your strengths. So would you say that the top one is leadership for you?
Yeah, definitely leadership, and I want to add advocacy. I'm definitely a person who speaks up when I see something that shouldn't be covered or be swept under the rug. So if they can't advocate for themselves, then I'm the person who would put a ear in to the people who do listen. So that's what I strive to be for people who can't advocate for themselves.
We were talking before we came on the air about one of the things you're passionate about is DEI. Tell us about that and how you think the University of New Haven does with its DEI.
Yeah, diversity, equity, inclusion. I'm definitely into it. My main thing is representation matters, and especially being at an institution where you don't see many people that look like you. So then our institution has done a great job in trying to make safe spaces. You have the Black Student Union, you have the Caribbean Student Association. Dr. Z even did a little round table with some of the students, and we got to put in our invoices, grievances, what we could do better, what we could work on. And so it was nice to hear some of the things that other students see as well, as far as getting more camaraderie for students on campus and actually having Dr. Z listen to it and have oh yeah, I'm gonna work on that and see it come to fruition. So the Black Lives Matter game, it was supposed to be a pride game, and we're very inclusive with our LGBTQ community. As you see, we have the sidewalk and we have the flag raised. And so I was like, you know what, let's also do a representation for marginalized communities, Black and brown communities. And they were like, yeah, that's a good idea. And just seeing that people are willing to listen and then you see it happen, it's just like, yeah, this university, if you mention a problem, they're going to address it. So I appreciate about that.
And talk about some of your work in that field off campus.
Yeah, I work at I intern at the Child and Family Guidance Center in Bridgeport, and most of the population is Black and Brown community, Spanish and Black children, and they're underserved. We offer services even if you can't afford it. So my main thing is incorporating mental health along with some of the social injustices that they face in the Bridgeport area, because it's not a well affluent area. And so having to battle some of the things in your economic status with like your social interactions, and then on top of that you have your mental health. And then it's also beneficial to see someone like me who's like, oh wait, she can help me, and I'm not scared to go talk about it because I see someone who looks like me who can talk about their mental health. So that's mainly my main goal.
Yeah, we mentioned at the top of the program that you're pursuing a degree in clinical mental health counseling. What is the mental health state now of our youth, especially some of the kids that you might encounter in Bridgeport?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of, social interactions that are disturbed. I think a lot of it has to go with like COVID. You see a lot of internalizing feelings, and some of that manifests into behavioral problems like ADHD. Everyone's diagnosed with ADHD, but ADHD is a side effect of some of the internal problems that they're going through. Yes, children have difficulty concentrating. That's a developmental thing. But like to label all of them ADHD, I feel like that's a thing that we need to work on. And COVID definitely did a number on a lot of children, having to be stuck inside. You can't go outside to play. Now you're stuck with all this like pent up energy. Now that you're allowed to go outside, you're trying to, use it and be off the walls, whatever the case may be. So a lot of it looks behavioral problems, but it's not talked about what they're going through. We just look and be like, oh, it's an issue, when there's deeper stuff, layers inside that needs to be addressed.
And have you started thinking about what your next steps will be? I would imagine they're along the lines of what you're discussing now.
Yeah, I definitely want to continue being in the mental health fields, but I want to bring in that forensic aspect in. Like my main goal is like to work with individuals who are like reintegrating into society, because they're locked up, throw away the key, and then you come back to a society that's changed while you were gone. How do you acclimate to that society without going back to your like negative like behavioral patterns? So I feel like maybe offering some assistance, resources, and then mental health assistance could probably put them on the right track so they can change their life and not have to go back to the life that put them in their predicament in the first place. That's really my goal, reintegration. And then secondly, it probably would be actually in the corrections, like mental health in corrections, because there's a lot that goes on that we don't know about, and I know mental health is a big issue there.
And we've had guests on the show before, and people have come through the system and been educated by the University of New Haven as well, and they've told us stories about, life on the inside is, it's trying physically and ultimately trying mentally. And you're right, absolutely right, Camryn. There does need to be a lot more help to kind of bridge that gap when they transition from the inside back to reality. You're so busy, off of campus, and you're busy on campus as well. You're the grad assistant, or one of the grad assistants for our Center for Student Success. What are your responsibilities with that job?
The Center for Student Success, I'm responsible with contacting students and just giving them, offering them resources when they're having trouble with their academics, whether that be like participation, attendance, missing assignments, or just a little reminder like, hey, there's a resource here on campus, like you don't have to do this on your own. You can come in, it's free, it's not gonna get penalized. You have success advisors who are willing to work with you. So it's in the Maxi Hall, you guys, on the second floor versus second floor, so please check us out.
Now, one of the things, obviously, that's so important about a college experience is the classes you take and the faculty you meet. Could you talk a little about some experiences you've had in the classroom that have really been, that really resonate with you? Any, mentoring opportunity, or mentoring examples that you could think of? Yeah,
definitely mentorship. So in my program, we have, when you do internship, you have like a group supervision class when you talk about the grievances that you have at your internship site. And so there's one professor, Dr. Kavanaugh, she's been like a mentor to me. When I have an issue, like it's called moral distress. So like when you feel like something's wrong, but it's against work policy and you just want to speak up. And so that was my issue. And I had to go talk to my professor about it. I was like, what do I do without being insubordinate? Like, this is wrong. Like, how do I address what I'm feeling without looking like I'm trying to take over someone's power or like make them feel like they're inferior? And she's given me a lot of like encouragers, like, you're brave, like, just do it because someone needs to talk about it. There's a reason that it's not being discussed. And so she's definitely given me a lot of empowerment to like use my voice even when it's like against bigger like institutions.
You said you went to Arizona recently. Tell us about that and why you were out there.
Yeah, I won Woman of the Year for the division of NE10. And then I was also recognized as a top 30 honoree in the NCAA. So they took me and my family out to Arizona where they had the big convention and they awarded us the little trophies and it was just a top 30 honoree and it was really cool. I met so many women from D1, Division II, and the Division III level, people from MIT, Harvard. So it was cool to see all these powerful women who are doing so many great things on the floor and off the floor, so it was nice.
Yeah, that's, you know, we've been speaking with some student athletes and we've been talking about the fact that it helps set you up for success in the future, doesn't it?
Definitely, it definitely teaches you about order, routine, and just, you know, getting your habits right because you have to be like routine what you're doing when you're in a student athlete or when you have like mental toughness and overcoming adversity. Like I feel like student athletes learn that when you're in competition.
We have a lot of people who are watching our show today, student athletes in high school. They're thinking about being a student athlete here at the University of New Haven. Student athlete in high school is one thing. Student athlete at the college level, especially here at UNH, is completely different. For those prospective student athletes who are watching you right now, what would you tell them about the difference of being a student athlete in high school and what's expected of you as a student athlete here at the University of New Haven?
Yeah, I definitely would say in high school you got away with, you know, skipping assignments and not doing your classes and not showing up. That's a different story when you're in college. Like they say you're student first, that's why it's student athlete, so that's a big thing. And as far as like the competition side, it's a lot of stuff on your own. Like you have to put in the work to be recognized. Like everyone's great when you walk onto a team, so you have to do the extra work to be better, you know what I'm saying? So. Yeah.
And so that must be also, and I think you referred to it, it's like a wonderful community around the team. Were there other communities that you found yourself joining during your time on campus?
Yeah, I recently, well, 2 years ago, I've been doing it for 2 years, like I've got engaged with the CSA, doing like fashion show and stuff, so that's been fun, like extracurriculars. I've gotten in touch with people who are into fashion and their creative side and just being confident, empowering yourself, so that's been fun. I've gotten in touch with people at BSU and going to their meetings and seeing some of the creative interventions that they have on campus. And also SAC, I know that's kind of related to athletes, but not all athletes join SAC, but I think that's a great platform to go if you want to build your leadership skills. I really loved SAC.
The University of New Haven recently adopted a new slogan called Power On. What does that mean to you? And Camryn, how do you power on?
It's a great question. Power on to me means facing adversity and still being able to push through it and be resilient no matter what happens. And for me, how I power on is advocating for other people who can't speak for themselves.
That's amazing. And we couldn't ask for more from our students.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you know, you already addressed the student athletes, but there are people and parents watching this program as well. If they're not a student athlete, just a student, why should they attend the University of New Haven?
You should come here because it's community. It's definitely community. I didn't know many people coming into here. Now I have close friends with Dr. Z, like I have his number, so that's pretty cool. Who would have thought about that? So like, you get close with people in the community, and that's what I really love about it. And the class sizes are small, so you make friends, you get to know your professors, your professor knows your name, so you don't feel like just a blimp in the crowd. So that's what I really love about UNH.
Yep. Camryn DeBose, thank you very much for joining us here on Charger 360. Camryn, again, former member of our women's basketball team, graduate student pursuing a degree in clinical mental health counseling with a concentration in forensic mental health. Best of luck to you when you graduate and as you head off into the real world, Camryn.
Thank you guys so much.
And that'll wrap up another edition of Charger 360. For Camryn, for Bruce Barber, I'm J.W. Stewart. Thanks for watching Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. We'll see you next time, everybody.